Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the official trailer that came out for Season 4 of Titans. If you haven't seen it already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. But this definitely gives me the feeling like this season might be the darkest season yet. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Titans has always had the darker element to it, but especially because we're leading into more supernatural side of the DC universe, which, I mean, obviously we've touched on that and the darker side of things, especially when it came to Rachel and when it came to her dad. So like some of the season 1 stuff kind of leaned into that, but it hasn't really been like the forefront necessarily. It's always kind of been a background thing, and I feel like now it's becoming like a full like forefront thing again. I mean, once again, stuff last season, especially with the Lazarus Pit and stuff like that, really touched on that side of things. But either way, I think it's really interesting that that's where we're going this season, and the whole Azeroth thing, and the fact is, for whatever reason, they're putting Lex Luthor on top of that pedestal of like leading. And I guess, I mean, for one, the last thing you ever want is one of the most maniacal people in the DC universe to have powers, and what he's going to ultimately end up doing with those. And because even Dick Grayson is like, yo, Bruce, like, for Bruce, Lex is the one person that ever scared him. And then Connor's like, well, Superman was never scared of him, and I'm not scared of him. But Dick is like, no, you should be, because Lex has always been a very different breed of villain, to some extent. I also love that it's the actor just playing him is Titus. I'm going to butcher his last name. I wonder, is it Welliver or Welliver? Either way, kind of best know him as playing Bosch. In the show Bosch. So I was like, oh, I had no idea he was playing. For one, I had no idea Lex was going to be in this season, but also I didn't know he was playing Lex until like the teaser. I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. So I'm curious to see where things kind of go, especially because we're going to really be leaning into like the whole him and Connor relationship, because Connor is part him in this continuity. Well, some continuities in the comics obviously as well, but still. But I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic, especially because, and this I think is going to tie in nicely with a conversation that came up during Superman and Lois, a conversation that Clark has with Jordan about trust, where it's like, right, every day that I'm out there, my powers are being tested. I'm being tested time and time again, because it takes years of building up that trust. But even Connor's in this like episode, he's like, I hear what people say about me. People will never stop reminding me of what I am. And I don't know whether that's like the scary side of him, that Superman side of him, or is it more so like people will always remind him he's half Lex Luthor, or maybe just a reminder that, oh, you might be like Superman, you might have the House of L sigil on your chest, but you're no Superman, So it might be a lot of that. So I mean, Connor's kind of struggled with a lot of himself going forward. I mean, up until now, either way. But I think you really, because I mean, we have no idea. Like, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if in this continuity he's ever met with Superman. Maybe he has, and there's been dialogue about that. But him meeting like one half of himself, fully like interacting with one half of himself, is definitely going to be interesting. And it seems like Lex is going to be pulling on those familial DNA strains, because that's going to be the thing of like, right, just because he's a part of your DNA doesn't mean he's your father. But it's like, yeah, but he's someone, because I am half him, it means he understands me like no one else in the world can. I mean, especially with Lex's obsession with Superman, you can make the argument he understands the totality of who Connor is in a way no one else could, So I think that is definitely an interesting dynamic for Connor to be made up of these two adversaries, So I just think that kind of presents things in a very interesting way. I could be mistaken, but obviously Joseph Morgan, I know best as Klaus from the originals, or the Vampire Diaries as well. I think he's playing Brother Blood, because I believe Brother Blood's supposed to be like the main antagonist of this season. I'm not well versed in Brother Blood. I know he was in Arrowverse, played by Kevin Alejandro, and I actually kind of completely forgotten about that until I was reading something recently. I was like, all right, I forgot about that. But I want to say, other than that, my only other experience with Brother Blood is the version of him that's in the the Teen Titans cartoon, in fact. It feels so crazy to me to see like live action version of these villains I've known a certain way, like a Dr. Light or a Gizmo, or in this case a Brother Blood. So like I said, I think we're really leaning into not only like the supernatural side, but like leaning even more so into the cult side of things. Like I said, I think we are bringing a lot of season 1 back around into, it's like I said, tied with like the Rachel stuff, tying that back into this season. So that's definitely going to be interesting. Obviously, Gar's also going through his own thing this season. Like, he's like, something or someone is reaching out to him, trying to teach him something. I'm curious what that is. I wonder who is it exactly that's reaching out. Is it the animalistic side of him, or is it more the supernatural side? Like, what exactly is reaching out to him, trying to teach him something? Obviously, I'm curious to see where things with Corey goes this season as well. Obviously, we got Tim joining the Titans last season. He doesn't have a suit yet. He's not the full-blown Robin yet, but it is enough of it. Like, he is, you know, we do see like him getting trained in this. This seems like this might be like I said, kind of a bit of a, for a lack of a better term, a mind fuck season, because it seems like this is going to be like a lot of like, oh man, we're going to be summoning some stuff, but like how much is it real and how much is just people getting inside of your head? It might be because we are dealing with the more mystic side, because I think we see like Tim and someone else running from like a giant snake down a hallway. So like, is that just in their head or is that real? And also, it seems like this season's going to get pretty gnarly and bloody, especially with the Brother Blood circumstance of it all. It doesn't seem like he's Brother Blood yet, but it seems like he's being set up to be that person, and it seems like how that all correlates. If he is who I think he's supposed to be, then how that all plays out is definitely going to be interesting to see how, you know, these storylines ultimately end up tying together. There was someone also in the trailer that looked, I was like, I don't think, well, we know Slade is dead. We know Deathstroke is dead. But I was like, well, not unless that's someone kind of filling that role. But I'm like, well, it's like, could it be Bloodshot? Because, like, they kind of have similar attire, and, like, because it didn't seem like there were blades on his back. Those looked like more guns, and I was like, that feels like a Deadshot thing. So I'm like, are we? Because we did see, like, a red eye, and that is kind of like a signature of, like, Deadshot's mask. So I would be curious about that. I assumed that was Deadshot, but I don't know. I could be 100% wrong. Very exciting trailer. Sets up a lot of very exciting stuff in this season. Obviously, we don't have full context, but I'm really, really interested to see where all this goes, and especially what kind of effect this type of stuff, especially with everything related to Azeroth, like how that's all going to like affect Rachel in the long run. That's definitely going to be interesting to see. I mean, just in general, how the Titans face this upcoming threat, where the Lex situation ends up taking us, what the end result of that's all going to be, especially with Connor. So that's all definitely going to be interesting. So I'm very, very excited for the upcoming season. But obviously, these are just some of my thoughts. I'd love to get to know yours in the comments down below. What did you think of the trailer? What are some things you want to see from this season? What are some things you expect to see from this season? Let me know. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.